And hey everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the new Byte Podcast, episode 3 today. And I'm joined as well again, as usual, by Emily and Dan. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello everyone.
Wow, you're super
Good
shy.
to be back. Yeah, good to be back.
It is good to be back. Just a week later. Wow.
Yeah, exactly a week later. I like this Wednesday spot. It gives me something to look forward to the middle of the week instead of just the weekend. So I appreciate that. So thanks for joining me.
Oh. Yeah. We'll continue to join you until I die.
Oh boy.
You die. That's
Yeah.
quite a commitment, Daniel.
I'm committing right now. Let's do this.
Oh boy. What a lovely day it is to do such thing. Yeah, actually, we have something to celebrate, sort of, because this podcast right now is also finally available on iTunes. So if you look for the new Byte on iTunes apps, you will find our podcast here. So if you listen to it right now on iTunes, it would be really helpful if you would actually give it a rating and a little comment how you like it, or if you can improve something, and we hopefully can take your feedback and implement it back into the show just so we can become even
absolutely
better.
love feedback. Okay.
Yeah,
Be sure to always give it.
The more feedback, the better.
Yes. Also, you might see it on video stream or you hear it already. Emily now has a microphone ready and set up, so she's sounding the best than ever.
It is so much better than I was using my webcam microphone before.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoy the better quality.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
In the last 2 podcast recordings, I've been frantically editing out any clicking noise that I could find. Sometimes very well, sometimes that's that well. And yeah, it's a blessing for me as well, so thank you.
So it's making your life easier then.
Also, yes also. Besides the fact that people will enjoy it more. Yeah, so
Fair enough.
that's for us. I think we'll just start into the discussion what games we've played this week. And for starters, actually, we have something very cool that Daniel played. So, Daniel, what have you played this week?
Right, so this week I managed to play Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I live streamed it as well through the new Byte, which was a bit trying at times, but it was definitely an interesting journey. But I had such a great time, absolutely wonderful time playing that game, and there were so many great people that came and watched the stream, and the game itself was fantastic. I did play it on console, so it was great to have some people come in and go, "Oh wow, those graphics look really good. Are you playing on PC?" And I was like, "Nope, playing on a console. So the graphics on a PC are going to be even better." So it was wonderful to play, and I can't wait to do some more. I'm debating at the moment whether I should continue on personally and do it a bit solo, or should I wait, come back to it when I live stream again. But I have to do a bit more thinking about that. But definitely want to keep playing that game, and definitely going to keep up with the news for that one.
Yeah. And,
what about you, Em?
Sorry, just to say something. I also put out the live stream recording in the background. So you can see it in the video version, and
Excellent.
it's quite fun because you using your super wide monitor, and actually the stream is doing the same thing, having a 2560 by 1080. So 60 by 10, I think, aspect ratio.
Yeah, so I think it was something like that. Yeah. But
a bit weird, but yeah, we'll get things on them proper very soon, of course. So, yeah. I mean, looking at the video right now, Emily, what do you think about the game? Have you heard something about it?
What game?
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
So I haven't heard much about it, but it looks really good from what Daniel's told me about it. And I did actually look into your live stream, and it looked really good. So I might try it out. I'm not too sure if it's my kind of game though. So yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I definitely say one thing to be prepared for is the combat is difficult. So if you before I live streamed this, I had played a little bit with the combat, and I was able to get a bit of hands-on before I live streamed it. So I roughly knew what I was doing with the combat, but yeah, it's difficult and expect to die a lot. That's the most advice I'll give you. Luckily, I didn't die when doing the playthrough, but one time I was very, very nervous about dying, and that was not so good. But yeah,
Okay.
be prepared. Be prepared.
Sounds interesting.
The different
So, yeah.
things. So also the reviews went live yesterday, and I'm not sure why, but many were not that interested in it. I saw on OpenCritic, I think today we had 28 reviews, professional reviews, and only 40% of the reviewers actually recommended the game, which is quite low, if I may say so. And I'm not sure if you have an insight on it right now. What could be so terrible that people are actually not recommending it? Because I've heard more than often that it's broken, has some very deep issues and bugs. But yeah.
If I had to put like a pin in like what the exact issue is, it's a little bit of a rabbit hole, but it's a personal like view on the video game journalism as a whole. It's really down to people who review video games and are massive stars on, like, they work for IGN or stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't really play games as a hobby. It's their job. They don't really care about the game. They don't really care what the interesting aspects are. It's, does it technically play well? Does it look good? All of these aspects. So they will really pick up on things like if there's like textures that clip through. It's a minor bug. It's a minor bug. It won't break your immersion too much. If it's a bit weird, it looks a bit weird. But they look for like the technical, clinical stuff. They don't go, is this game fun in terms of if I sat a person down and they played it for like 6 hours, would they have a good time? They take the clinical approach. So I'm not really going to rant about it, but I would say that's kind of where the issues stem from.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean,
my reviews, I play from the heart. Like,
yeah, I mean, I got the same problem myself when reviewing the game. Sometimes I wish I could have a little more time. Only weekend I played Night in the Woods, which we could talk about a little later on. And I took my time this live stream that I did, talked to people, reflected a little bit more, which I think helped, of course, to talk in a more sort of intimate way about the game. And yeah, sometimes reviews, especially if it's a really big game and they have to push out a review on release day, like everyone else, because it's of course a race to be the first one to post something, it can quite sort of damage the impression about them really knowing it, because they stress themselves out about it. But on the other side, I actually expect a little bit that people would level with it. Like they are used to do that, so that they can sort of level it out again with the stress in their expressions. So it's not easy to do, and there's sometimes a good reason why not doing this as a profession might be a good way.
Yeah, I really think though that to go forward in the industry, big review companies like IGN and GameSpot, Rock Paper Shotgun, they all need to start looking into their reviewers as, do they play the game for fun, or do they play games for fun, or do they just review games because it's their job? And I think one of the biggest indicators is if you can go to a video game convention and go up to an indie booth and they don't have to explain to you the controls of how to play the game, then you're in the right job. If they have to spend like 20 minutes explaining the controls, you're doing the wrong thing. Like, just stop. Do some other journalism.
But what if it's a really complex game?
Okay.
Exactly.
There's always a counter argument to this.
There really is. There really is. But I was, I can't remember what game it was, but it was essentially a game where you had to explore a person's fragmented memories. And the controls were literally forward and back, jump, mouse clicking, and it was a little like Portal where you could create portals and move objects around.
Sure.
The guy who was explaining what the game was about to me, after he did the little demo, he said, this was so refreshing because I didn't have to explain any of the controls to you. You just knew how to play it.
Yeah.
But all of the other journalists who had come seen him, every single one of them, he had to spend 20 minutes of them going like, so this is how you go forward, this is how you go back, this is how you pick up the objects. Like, but I knew it because I play games, and it's one of those things where you pick up on. Like, if you play games, it just kind of flows a little bit naturally. And yes, there are some games where you need explanation of the controls, but come on, it's a game where you can move forward and back and pick up objects. Like, how?
I guess you're a true gamer then.
I would say so.
True to the heart with gaming.
Okay. Well, we had that controversy coming up in multiple occasions, like Polygon playing Doom, and you could see how they're not feeling comfortable playing that game because it was being wobbling around. The sensitivity was probably wrong for their needs and all that. And like someone who is just used to start up a game and thinking, okay, this feels weird. Let me do a few settings, and then I go back and restart the recording. You know, every one of us knows that. It clearly shows who's playing the game. And sometimes I'd say I still am on the side of not every reviewer or game journalist has to be good at games, because sometimes there are things, industry insights, database things, and analytics things that people just have to be good at in their sphere, like maths and all that, reading the data, for example. And if it's just about presenting a game, I can also see some Let's Play do that. Probably even better because they have sort of interesting way to edit the videos and all that to make it interesting, unlike any games journalist who's just doing an impression or something. And for them, I'd rather reserve like actually playing the whole thing and reviewing that instead, and not just presenting how to play. But the thing with the Gamescom demos and all that is quite interesting because the things that I played actually never really needed an explanation, besides the one thing that I played, which was a XCOM-like game. And I said I have never played one of these, besides later the Mario vs. Rabbids game, which had, of course, console controls and PC controls. But yeah, there was at least a link to that. And sometimes it's just like you want to try something interesting. It sounds like, oh, this is a new, I don't know, Mountain Blade Bannerlords 2. That was a game where I actually was thinking, okay, I know games in general, but hey, give it a little kickstart. Like, how does it work? Yeah. They had like cheats thing on when it was explained. Very helpful. And we also learned in the 3 rounds that we played a lot more. We had a terrible first round. Second round, we slowly get used to it. In the third round, we just dominated everyone because everyone was finally getting to know the game.
All on the same page.
That was also because we had a lot of time to play the game, actually. I was really happy about that because if we just had like 10 or 15 minutes, wouldn't have get anything done. Didn't have any good video recording done for that. So it's always a thing, like having experienced something before, cool. And if not, at least sometimes just a few more minutes would be helpful, of course.
Yeah.
But
enough about our ranting.
Yeah, sure.
What did you play this? What did you play this weekend?
No. Actually, I have one more thing that I want to ask you, because we talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance, actually. But what is the game about? Because I think we should mention that at least. What's the story?
Okay. Well, the story is about a blacksmith's son who he and his father create a sword for the Lord of the Manor. And the antagonist in the game kills his parents and steals the sword and leaves our hero for dead. And it's a redemption story about getting back the sword, regaining his family's honor. And it's set in the Middle Ages. So as he is the son of a blacksmith, he doesn't really have very many opportunities. When talking with the developers, they said, we took a little bit of liberties with how we represented the characters and how the society stands a little bit, because some of it just wouldn't have happened. But in terms of the story, it's loosely based on a real story. And with what they've done with the game, it's fantastic. It's Skyrim meets Mountain Blade. Words. And if you loved either of those games, you're really going to enjoy Kingdom Come Deliverance.
So is there also things like crafting in it?
I believe there is. Have I come across it yet? No. In terms of what I have come across, has been very limited so far, as I've not had much time to mess around with it as when I saw it before the game's launch. What we were treated to was a few battle scenes and more story-based content rather than the crafting and the extra aspects of it. But I believe there are some crafting aspects, but I couldn't tell you for 100% certain.
Yeah, because
I know
at least one reference in that sort of game is that I have is Witcher 3. I haven't played much of it, like 10 to 15 hours, but you got to know most of the basic things in that time frame, right? So you got to know how to set traps, to craft new things for that, actually to level up your weapons and all that, and make them stronger on that. And
yeah, I'd say the way it differs from something like The Witcher or Skyrim is a lot of the aspects of the game is introduced very slowly. It's real slow compared to a lot of other games where something like Witcher 3, you have the entire tutorial, which brings you through, I'd say, about 70% of all the different game aspects. And then outside of the tutorial, you come across things quite easily and they're presented to you. But things like saving characters in one of the battle scenes in the tutorial of Kingdom Come Deliverance, you can do it, but the game doesn't tell you can. So unless you go back and play it again, or you know what you're doing before you get into it, some characters die and you can't save them at all. But according to several sources, you can save quite a few of the characters who you're introduced to in the story, apart from your parents because of story reasons. But yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching your stream exactly when you've been told to just leave, and you grabbed the horse and you just went. And everyone in chat was like, "Oh no, you left everyone to die!" No.
Yeah, I honestly though, when I was doing that bit, I thought they were all messing with the door. I saw 3 guys pulling at a door frame.
Yeah,
and then everybody in chat was like, "No, they were pulling on somebody." I was like, "Where? Where was this person?"
Okay, not bad. Yes, so we have also one more thing I think that's quite fitting to it, because Kingdom Come Deliverance, as we all know, is not only available on consoles but also on PC. And on PC, we actually have the mod functionality introduced right now, a day after release. And there's something that's now an unlimited saving mod. So, Daniel, maybe you can introduce to us the saving system first, and then we can discuss how that might change how we view the game.
Okay, so with Kingdom Come Deliverance, the game is not easy. That's one of the biggest things that they wanted to push. It's not an easy game. It's a difficult, challenging game. But
it's the Dark Souls of Dark Souls. No.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of.
I was sarcastic, by the way. It's not like Dark Souls, so please don't name it.
It's really not like Dark Souls.
It's just joking.
It's very, very different. But so far there are 3 ways to save in the game. So in-story quests or in-quest checkpoints. That is one. You can save by sleeping. So some of the time-based quests, though, you will fail or you'll miss out because it does work with time. So in the tutorial, your father says, "Okay, go out and get me all this stuff. Oh, by the way, can I have some cold ale? If you get the ale first and you spend the rest of the time going around doing the other objectives and you come back to him, he won't accept the ale.
Oh,
because he'll be like, "It's not cold. No, I asked for cold ale. Give me cold ale."
Dude.
So you have to go get some cold ale, bring it back to him as well. So make sure when you do that, that's one of your last objectives. But that's present throughout the entire game. If there's this mission where it's like, "Oh, go capture this guy," you got to do it now, because if he's gone, he's gone. And then the last one is you can drink a potion called Savior Schnapps. Sorry. Schnapps.
Yes.
So you can carry up to 3 of these at once, but they do count as alcohol, so they do make your character a little bit dizzy and drunk, and you get a bit blood vision and everything if you have too much at once. But these allow you to save in the game, and you can only have so many of them in your inventory, and they cost quite a bit to buy, so you've really got to be careful with how you use them. With unlimited saves, in terms of being able to play the game casually, it makes it good because somebody can be like, oh, I've got a package to deliver or the pizza's here or something.
Yeah.
Press pause, go.
Because it's not an online game, it's an offline game. Offline single player game. And you should be expected to say, oh, finally came like 5 minutes earlier, so I have to stop exactly now and not in 5 minutes or something.
The difference is, though, you can actually pause the game and that pauses the entire world. But you can't, but saving the game, that requires you to, that requires one of the 3 options I mentioned. But I would say that if you're going for realism, or as realistic as possible in a video game,
rather that.
Having the savior schnapps is a good idea. But what they should do is to kind of combat this mod, or to say we embrace this mod and we like this idea. They should have at the beginning of the game or somewhere in the game aspects that you can say whether you want to play hard or normal. And if you play hard, save your schnapps, the 3 options, that's the only stuff you get to save. If you play normal mode, then you should have unlimited saves and everything. I think it was mainly because how the game has so many branching options that you can choose, like Skyrim on steroids, kind of, you can do all of these different things. You can kill off all these characters and it doesn't matter because it's a side story and it doesn't affect the main story characters. But so like if I'd known I could have saved that girl, what I would have done is I would have saved your schnapps. Somebody would have been like, oh, you could have saved her, so I'd just go back in time and do the classic video game thing of, I'll just quit it, I'll go back to my last save and everything will be fine.
When was the last time that I saved? That thing.
So I think when they were thinking about this, they were like, how can we combat this so that the player has to really think about their decisions, and if they make a decision, that's it sticks. So I think that I agree with it, but I also disagree with it. The unlimited saving just kind of ruins the game a little bit in terms of you're supposed to have your decisions and you've made them and that's your choice.
It makes your story special because you don't have a chance to go back. The decisions that you make your story also. I guess.
Because one of the things that somebody said while I was live streaming, I approached the town drunk, tried to kind of be like, oh, if you don't give me back the money that you owe, I'm going to beat you up. And then I failed that and I had to actually fist fight him. And somebody else was like, oh, when I was watching this other guy's stream of it, that never happened. Because they had like your friends backing you up. But of course, because I hadn't gone through the friends quest bit, I didn't have my friends, I was a little weaker, that kind of thing. So it made I really think it makes people's playthroughs very unique, and it's going to be interesting to watch different people do it. Especially something like on YouTube, it's going to be great to see all these different YouTubers playing through Kingdom Come, because it's going to be unique. You're going to have like different stories, different aspects of the game that really come across in those ones, which I think is better than having an unlimited saving mod where they're like, oh, we let such and such die. Let's go back and try that again. Like, if they die, like, hey, that's how the game was designed to have it. They die.
No second chance.
No second chances. But I think they should add like maybe an easy mode, maybe even have like an easy mode with unlimited saves, and then it like hinders the game in some way, like it makes combat harder or something. I don't know.
I mean, what games sometimes do is to just say, okay, you want to save, but you also have to quit the game. And if you want to continue that, you have to actually go out in the menu and start the save game again, which is quite annoying and sometimes just hinders the player because they think, okay, well, don't need that. Because, of course, the meaning with Skyrim, everything is like, hey, you do a quick save, you fuck shit up, and you load your quick save again, you're good to go and continue your average, normal playthrough. And, I mean, we saw on games that use more sort of hardcore approach to that with, for example, Resident Evil 7, which had regular saving, but on the hardest difficulty, you actually have to go back to the way classic Resident Evil saving works. You actually have to collect tapes and use them in order to save your game on that tape. And so that makes the game more difficult because if you just want to stop, you have lots of progress just thrown away if you don't save. And the same way, if you actually die in between saves and don't have a checkpoint, you also lose all that progress that way. It's just quite hard, of course. You know? And I remember back in the day when I played Super Mario Bros. On an emulator, I had infinite quick save because I could just say, "Hey, dear emulator, save that state right now." And if I fail the jump, I just reload it again and again and again. And that way, I sort of could brute force my way forward, although the game would have stopped after 5 lives that it had and then had to start all over again. Which is, of course, a little annoying, but if you just want to sort of exercise or train, that's that.
Yeah.
All right, so that is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Cool. Something that's
Sounds
quite
good.
cool. Yeah. Emily, what do you have for us here today? Because you have something.
So I actually have something because I am such an avid Simmer gamer. I absolutely love Sims. So I've been on the Sims website and something popped up. And it's a new expansion pack for The Sims 4 that was announced yesterday. It's called Jungle Adventure. It's a new expansion pack that is it's all like new and exotic, and you get to go to this land called like Selvadora. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it has like a Hispanic exotic look.
Yeah. From the image right now on screen that we have in the blog, so people in the video can see it.
It looks quite good. The new features are like you can explore jungles and you can go on like strange missions, and like you can they can lead you to like abandoned temples, and like you can excavate like ancient artifacts.
Yeah.
And it kind of has like an Indiana Jones vibe kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It also reminds me of like an updated version of World Adventures. If you did play the Sims 3 Sims 3 expansion pack.
Yeah.
And it also releases on the 27th February for PC and Mac. So it looks really good.
So both systems at once. That's good.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure when it's on console.
Yeah, I had a friend here in Cologne who was just solely playing on Mac, and she was a little frustrated because The Sims 4 was out, and she loved playing The Sims. But she had to wait like how much time was passed since the PC release? I think a year or something.
Yeah,
it took quite a while to have The Sims 4 on Mac actually. Yeah,
but just imagine it for console players.
What?
Yeah.
They had to wait so long.
That Sims on console though, like, is it the same? Is it really the same? I had Sims 3 on Xbox 360, and that was it wasn't the same. It's not the same.
That's why PCs.
Yeah.
High level.
All right. Oh.
In my opinion, anyway.
One thing while looking at this, I know because I have played a little bit of The Sims. One thing that really is kind of jumping out of me is if I want to take my sim on an adventure and explore this cool abandoned temple of doom or whatever, are they going to have some sort of thing to override half of the sim interactions? Because I know a lot of the time where I normally play, maybe I'm just bad at playing The Sims, but a lot of the time my sim, I say, go do this, and they're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go do something else. Or they just stand around for like a day just going, I'm going to stand here. I'm not going to move. I'm going to fall asleep over here. And then I'm not happy with you. So
very stubborn.
Doing that in a temple would suck.
There is actually, I know this is definite for Sims 3. There is an option called free will.
Okay.
You can actually set like how much free will that you give them. So high free will allows them to do like everything you want them to do, and like they like can't do like anything that they want to do or like are programmed to do. Whereas if it's low, then they have like the option like
to ignore you and stuff.
Yeah, they have Yeah,
So
I'm not sure.
can you choose like the individual sim, or is it just like every sim in the world is based off of this stat? Mainly because it would be interesting to have your sim with a very low or high free will, and then like sims in the same house as you have the opposite, so that they can be more autonomous and you don't have to control them.
I think for the same household, it's like all on the same like option.
Okay.
But people in the actual world, I think they're on their like own wavelength.
Right,
Really sure.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Something I'll have to look up. But yeah, that sounds very interesting. You'll have to do a Sims series.
Definitely.
I will. I've been thinking about it. But I need to get better at doing certain things like editing, but
You'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Hey, I did editing on Windows Movie Maker for years. You'll be fine.
Oh, Windows Movie Maker brings back so many memories.
I gotta say, my videos are quite good for Maker product.
Just year 7 making loads of videos, just putting like loads of photos on.
College, please.
Yeah. I remember back in the day when I did Windows Movie Maker stuff, that was in the infancy of YouTube, and like 2006, 2007 and everything. Some Mr. Leagues and all that. That's quite good to get to know basic video editing, but yeah. So it's good
It's
that we can
a
move
good
on.
beginner's point.
Yeah, surely enough. At least things like Vegas editing software, all that's getting a lot cheaper right now. We actually had the Humble Bundle just a few weeks back, which got everyone for a very low price. I think Vegas 7 or something. And that's always a good starting point. So besides that, I mean, on Mac you have lots of possibilities for free built in, and sometimes even on your phone you have sort of basic apps that can at least export in 720p, and sometimes that's just enough. So yeah, it's quite a thing. Video editing. Yeah, Sims 4. I actually don't have much to add to that because I'm really not that into it, but I'm always glad that we can talk about something that I'm not into, so I can learn more about those and we can expand it further.
It's enriching to people who don't know.
Yeah. Simulating family and socializing. I don't do that in real life that well, so why should I be interested in digital things?
I'd go full meta and I'd create my own sim. I'd move out. I'd order pizza all the time and have them play video games.
Yeah. How long can I survive? And now let's translate it over to my real life. Oh god.
I'm going strong.
Yeah. I'll outrun death. I just date him, and then we have kids. And
I trapped death by climbing into a pool. Death climbed in after me. I got out, and then I deleted the stairs.
Yeah.
It was fine. Death was trapped there for months.
Newspapers had articles like, "Yeah, Death was cheated by one entity we don't know. This is proof of God." Whoa!
Everyone's alive.
I think if you're a true gamer, then I think you should know all the cheats that come with like Sims.
Motherload.
Yeah.
Oh, Motherload. Oh, such a classic.
Yeah. Like we talked about it last week. I just built a house and then abandoned them. So I guess I have a better interest in some other architecture games like that, not necessarily living together.
See, I could see you house testers, SimCity kind of guy. Complete infrastructure.
Yeah. I mean, what was the last good game where you build cities and all that?
Skylines, Civilization or Anno? Or?
No.
Skylines?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. City Skylines.
City Skylines. Right? Yeah, I got that. I think I never tried it, but I should totally do that because it seems to be.
You haven't tried it?
I played different indie games to try to replicate that, but yeah, not the original thing. Although I have it on my system, on my Steam for weeks, not even months, I think. Still haven't tried it. There's so many other awesome games. Like the next thing that I tried. I can talk about it if you want to, if you're interested.
Oh gosh.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yes, so if you
Right.
don't have anything to add about Sims, we can move on and can tell something that I
Ye-
played this week.
Yeah, let's talk
Um,
about what you played, because I know you played a couple of games on a live stream.
So
When
on
your computer
Sunday,
was
I
working.
finished the Night in the Woods game and also did a review for it. And Night in the Woods is just, it's a fantastic experience. It takes like 8 to 10 hours. You play as a young 20-year-old cat who just dropped out of college and goes back to her hometown with a few years of not being there. And actually, it's quite interesting to see because the social interactions that are happening, you meet friends who all of a sudden have lost one of their parents and had to take over their jobs, which makes them already grown up and forces them out of their adolescence. Then we have couples that broke up. You will meet an ex-boyfriend. You get drunk, and you have to remember a place in the US, so you're actually not legally allowed to drink, and it causes so many more problems. And it's just very, very charming how the game is written, how the interactions are happening, because this is not a game that you just play for the gameplay necessarily. It's more because of social interactions. And funny enough, compared to what I said about The Sims, I was totally up for that. Like getting to know the people, and you can see the trailer right now on the video stream. The art style just looks fantastic. It's like 2D, very nice, clean colors, but also a very nice aesthetic to it. And you do lots of crazy things. And the main twist behind the story is all of a sudden a person is missing after a city fest, and you try to find out what's that about. Because all of a sudden there are ghosts in the city, and you try to find a ghost, and there's something behind that, and that is the mystery of Night in the Woods, actually. And
Wow.
yeah, for the 8 or 10 hours that I played it, I played 80% of it on live stream on Sunday on our YouTube
Wow.
channel and Twitch, and I had a lot of fun with that. Actually, talked to people, seeing how they experienced the game. I got some new friend who told me a little bit about it, stuff that I missed, and that also gave the game a little more deeper meaning, because if you dig a little deeper with characters and continue conversations after the initial conversation, which you could do, so just continue pressing A, and you can talk to them. It opens up a lot more about them. So, for example, one of the neighbors who was always on the same spot, actually, just first off started in the first few days, like, hey, what you're doing, and that. After a few days, you get to know that she was in therapy and actually is writing poems. And after that, you can unlock a poem per day. So after each day waking up, you go to the person and can hear a poem about that, and even continue a conversation with that. And it's quite charming. A lot of people have that in this city. Some of them are more like background characters, of course. You can't talk to them or that, but the ones that you can talk to are quite interesting at times. We just give a little more sort of investment into conversation. Sometimes you can decide your answer on different things, so you can decide what action you want to take. But overall, it's a more linear game. You just follow one certain path. Even in the beginning, the game starts with some narration, and it stops all of a sudden, gives you different options what you can say. So, for example, the game starts out with your grandfather dying, and his last words on his deathbed are something that you decide. Let's say it was something like, and he looks over to the park bench, or he looks over to the kindergarten, or he looks over to the next field or something, and it's like, they're coming, and you don't know who's coming, why is it coming, and that's all leading to
You're
the
freaking me
greater
out, man.
mystery behind that. Sorry?
You're freaking me out, man. It's too late for ghost stories.
Sorry. But yeah, the game's not scary, not at all. It's actually, as I said before, like 80 to 90% is just social interactions with different characters who are well written,
Interesting.
have lots of problems, are open about the problems. Like you have, on one side, you go into a forest with a friend, you're standing on a tree that's fell over, and you have a night fight with them. And after that, you go to the next sea, just stand there and contemplate a little bit. And all of a sudden, he opens up and says, I don't know if my boyfriend is actually in love with me and all that. And it's some deep shit. And they're talking back and forth, and you assure him, no, Angus is his name. He's the right guy for you, Gregory. So, there's so many fantastic things that I don't want to spoil really, because it's worth experiencing. It's really cheap. It only costs like €20, $20 or £15. So for the 8 or 10 hours to get a lot of emotions, and I can really recommend it. It's out, of course, now on the Nintendo Switch and all the other platforms, so PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
I actually heard it was crowdfunded on Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter game.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what they made.
Seem to be doing that at the moment. Like Kingdom Come Deliverance was crowdfunded. Battalion 1944 was crowdfunded, and they all seem to be really good games from what I'm seeing and experiencing. So
yeah, Night in the Woods got fully funded with 26 hours, and they got $209,000.
Nice.
And they had the goal of only 50K. And yeah, now they're published on Nintendo Switch, one of the most successful consoles of this generation. At least from
Are there any other platforms that is going to be released on?
It's already out on PS4, Xbox, and PC. So the Switch was actually the last one to come out to. Because
fair enough.
At the end of last year, they were teasing sort of that it's coming to a new system, but they were not allowed to tell until Nintendo had their Direct. And so they said, yeah, there's going to be an autumn update because the game is actually placed in the fall, and lots of those themes and of course colors also placed around that theme. And the Nintendo Direct happened, then they were finally able to say, oh, also this update is coming to Nintendo Switch is also there. So that's a fantastic story to just follow through. And I love the aesthetics, so nice.
Excellent.
It definitely looks good.
Yep.
Go on, Daniel.
Yeah, well, no, I was just going to say. So, did any of us see any interesting news articles over the last day or so?
Besides our own, we did a little feature for the game Descenders, which I also played this week. I can do a very quick bit about it because I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Sure.
Descenders is an extreme downhill mountain biking game, which is using procedural generation for the levels, and it's in early access since last Friday, and it's quite good. Let me put on the reveal trailer for you on the video feed. It's done by Rage Squid Entertainment and No More Robots, and yeah, pretty much straightforward mountain biking and downhill racing with procedural generated levels. So each time you play sessions, and with sessions you have a certain minimum amount of tracks that you have to finish without losing too much of your health. You start with like 4 health points, and each time you bail or so fall down, you lose 1 health point. And it sort of limits how many times you can race those tracks. And each time you restart the session again, you'll have a new track in front of you because it's generated automatically.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we did on the website, on the new Byte.com, we have a feature for triple monitor gaming setup, how the game looks like that, and how it works because it has 4 different camera perspectives. And yeah, it's pretty early on. It's sort of, I would say, basic, but for an early access game that just was released, it's also in a very good state right now. Very good performance, sort of limited graphic options, so you can only play in at 1080p most. I wasn't able to get it in 4K yet, sadly. But for that, it's really running well. It's really a lot of fun right now, and really can at least recommend to take a look at it. Of course, for thingies, we have to say that we received the key for the game for free for review and coverage purposes. So, yeah, just so you know, every time we talk about that, we are sort of influenced because we got product for free. #free product.
Is it? See, on that note of kind of like getting free stuff from, or like free product keys or whatever, just because we're a news outlet, like if I get given a code for a game, if it's bad, I'm gonna say it's bad. Like,
sure,
they gave me, they wanted my opinion, I'm gonna give my opinion. Like, but if normally I don't think I've ever. I can only think of one game off the top of my head, which I won't say, but I can only think of one game which I got given a code for, which was dreadful.
Oh.
But so far, the other games that I've been given have been good. Well, yeah. Well,
if I look through my inbox right now, I have 20 games which are from not interesting enough to obviously so bad I don't even want to try them. And I don't want to trash anyone who sends me games for free. I mean, hey, people are just trying out things and publishing and continuing the next project.
I wouldn't deliberately trash somebody's game because I didn't like it or something. But if I'm going to review it, I'm going to review it properly. I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to objectively do it as much as possible.
Isn't it better to give your like raw feedback instead of just giving like, I don't know, a review just to please someone?
I don't think I've ever done something like that where someone's been like, we'll give you this code, but you have to do a good review. I've never done something, and I don't think I ever would.
If I would ever come across something like that, I'd just buy the game myself and then talk about it, because it's nice to have free games. Sometimes it's just so you actually get to know that there's a game, because I got Descenders sent, I think, 1 week in advance. Wasn't really taking a look into it, but see, okay, there's some game, we'll take a look later, save the email, because it already had the key inside, so I was like, okay, well, at least they gave me already something, so I don't need to do any additional steps to get access to the game. Then I was seeing like one day earlier, oh, there's a trailer, oh, that looks, that's actually not bad, maybe want to take a look into that, and then the game released, I watched the live stream, was thinking, okay, I have to play the game myself, and then I got into it, so there's that. It's just etiquette and, of course, professional to disclose those facts that you get a key for free. I mean, it's even demanded now, since a few months ago, that we have to disclose that we get games for free, not just those content where we get paid for, which we didn't yet. So, we were not getting paid to do anything right now. This is a hobby project. But as soon as we get free keys, which I already get from my house test channel experience, which is very nice, I can take that and say, okay, instead of doing it at house test, I will do that on the new Byte, which I'm open about. So every time I get keys and say, okay, but I did it on here because we moved channels. And most of them are cool with that, because sometimes I see channels who are way smaller getting keys for free because people are just happy that the games are getting played, are getting out there. In the case of Descenders, actually, the guy Mike Rose, I think, on Twitter, which is from No More Robots, he's very open about saying, hey, if you are a streamer or something, we don't care that much about numbers, about if you're active and continuing and not just there to sort of resell our game on G2A, which happens sadly sometimes. So if you're actually using the game to play and present it, they're very open about sending you a key. And yeah, that's the case for most indie and smaller titles. And as it looks right now, Descent is actually getting some good attention. Even Lyric played it. Many other gamers played it. I think Spamfish on Twitch played it, and so many more. And it's really worth your time already. It's not just like PUBG. When it started in open beta, I was like, I don't know, it's that going well. A lot of issues. The game continues to be good and even better, of course. And Descenders already is good, and they're just adding features now on, which I really like. Yeah. So much for Descenders.
Hey.
So I'm not sure how much time we have for news. We don't want to spend too much time in general for podcasts, so we aim for the 1 hour slot. But I guess we'll go over time at least for a few more minutes. So if there's one news topic that you absolutely want to talk about, just let me know so we can jump to it, and I will display something. I have listed a few things. Just a quick note. THQ Nordic actually acquired the Saints Row publisher Koch Media. Koch Media being an outlet which is already huge. They have like Deep Silver under them, for example. And THQ, just for information, actually got closed down in 2013. They were bankrupt and got bought up by Nordic Games. Nordic Games then decided in 2016 to rename themselves into THQ Nordic. So THQ Nordic basically is Nordic Games and not anymore THQ. They just got the name because they have so many assets from the former THQ label.
Honestly, though, in terms of just like a quick breakdown of this, good, very, 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 very good news, because Nordic, now THQ Nordic, know what they're doing, and to take control of something like the Dead Island series, which they released Dead Island 3 as like, oh, it's coming out. It's coming out soon. And then, we can't do it anymore. We can't do it anymore. I literally was in Tesco's and they've still got the pre-order Dead Island 3. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. There's no way.
Yeah.
But now that THQ Nordic have control, it's like, okay, let's get this series going again. And it's the same thing with Saints Row. Saints Row 3, okay. Saints Row 4, a copy. And then all the DLCs has just been rubbish compared to what it was.
Now you have Agents of Mayhem, which is sort of a spin-off game from Saints Row. It wasn't really revealed well.
No.
Wasn't good.
This is why THQ Nordic, it's such a positive and good thing that they are coming in and taking control of the reins, because they're going to take everything back and go, okay, back to basics, back to all the good stuff, back to where it was and should be. So this is a very, very, very positive move.
Yes, I already mentioned people are waiting for Dead Island, but also Darksiders 3.
Darksiders, yeah.
Which is another game. And so many more assets are belonging to that. Even Metro Exodus was announced last year at E3. That's coming now out under THQ Nordic, I guess, with Koch Media. The list goes long, I guess, from the parties that are included in this. And as THQ Nordic has announced, for now, none of the stuff will be impacted. So they just work under new boss, but apparently none of the people will be laid off. So that's good to hear.
That is super good. I think it's mainly just it's a good power play, and in terms of direction for all of the management side of things, it's something that Koch Media really needed. They really needed somebody to come in and just go, okay, let's whip this into shape properly. Let's do it right. And THQ are on path to do that properly.
Yeah.
So, right.
One more game that we can talk about is by Activision. And there are actually two news pieces which came out about Activision recently. They had their investors call. So financial reports released and everything. And we know now, of course, that Treyarch is doing Call of Duty for this year. So Black Ops 4, maybe? It's getting better and better. Also, we heard the information that Activision made $2 billion just by selling microtransactions via the console games. They actually made $4 billion, but I think half of it was by King Games, so Candy Crush and all that shit. That's belong to them. So
Scrooge McDuck that.
Still $2 billion USD just by selling microtransactions via, for example, Destiny, Call of Duty, and all that. It's very high numbers. And
it just seems to me that like they got all the executives in a room and just went, ladies and gentlemen, pulled a thing, and then just money started raining down from the ceiling. They're just like, make it rain.
Yeah, so they're there. Yeah. Also, besides that, hey, Destiny news. Apparently there's another sort of comet coming. We heard the tone comment already when Destiny 1 was out, and well, Destiny 1 was struggling really in the first year, and then they had a new DLC coming under the project name Comet. So Destiny 2 will receive another big expansion later this year again, but next to the Gods of Mars DLC, which is still due to come out this year. So yeah, we have 2 more content drops for Destiny 2 as well, and hopefully with Comet, as it's called right now, maybe it will be like the last one, which was the Taken King, and we already talked about Taken King. It's actually been the turning point for Destiny 1, which made the game as big as it was, at least before Destiny 2 came out. Yeah, let's hope this will turn around Destiny 2 as well.
Destiny has been one of these roller coaster rides where it's kind of like, here's our brand spanking new wonderful roller coaster, and you sit in the roller coaster, and then they pull the sheet away, and it's just kind of, it's the same old thing that you've seen before, and
same
you didn't like.
Same loop at the beginning.
It's kind of like, well, I've done this before. Please don't make me do this again.
Yeah. It's not getting better by doing it multiple times.
No.
Yeah.
So let's just hope it improves.
Let's just move on, because the most important thing right now, apparently, Activision is reportedly working on bringing a Spyro remaster, just like they did with Crash Bandicoot, with the Insane Trilogy, which featured Crash 1 to 3. Apparently, also Spyro will get the remaster treatment, which I'm certainly happy about, because not many of those PS1 era games are coming out to today's standards, and the remaster that they did for Crash Bandicoot was really well done. The best impression that I got was actually at Games Done Quick this year, where I think the third game was speedrun, and people already said like, yeah, the remaster is so well done. It's incredibly similar to the original, and they also left in some parts which were key essentials for doing the speedruns. So certain skips and all that were still left in the code. So people care about that, and I hope that this treatment will also will be done for the Spiral trilogy.
Yeah, really hoping, really looking forward with that news to kind of getting all those feels of back when I was playing with my mate around my mate's house, playing Spyro. Just kind of like, good stuff.
Right. And one more piece of news, actually, to sort of round up our news bit. You may have heard of Dev Tycoon.
Great game.
Dan played it, right? I played it a lot. Emily, have you played it?
Nope.
Okay. So the basic idea is it's very simple. You play as a startup in the 80s and you develop games. It's a very simple simulation game. So you sit down, you have different stages in which you can develop a game, 3 of them. And in each stage, you sort of give points, for example, for graphics, audio, and gameplay. And the amount that you spend on those aspects of a game also will determine the quality. And after each time you develop a game, you will automatically get reviews for that. And depending on how well reviewed, you will also get higher sales and, of course, more money, which will lead to you getting into the game loop. You research more topics, research new technology, and begin to actually be a company, hire new people, making even bigger games, do contract work.
Become the Ubisoft, become the Activision.
It's really well done. A lot of details went into this. And now, at the end of last year, actually, they finally came out with the mobile version, the official mobile version of Dev Tycoon. I was so longing for such a game to be available on my phone right now, and I actually paid for it for the iOS version because it's a paid game right now. And the game released a little later also on Android and in the Google Play Store. Apparently, that's now the news bit. Around 77% of the reviews for the Dev Tycoon app on the Android store were removed by Google, which is troubling. Because here's the thing. If you have a review on the Google App Store, you have to pay for the game, and you have to download the game and play it for at least a few seconds before the Google App Store will actually allow you to write a review. The thing is, of course, this paywall is not there for free games. So for free games, you can just basically say, hey, I want to add that to my account. You can immediately write a review and sort of boost the free-to-play game, which is, of course, something that the Google Play Store has to take actions against. And apparently that action has also been taken against, sadly, the $5 game, Dev Tycoon. So it's something that will be an update coming to this.
Yeah, it's from just reading the article, it really seems like,
Yeah, I was out of focus, sorry.
Oh, okay. But yeah, from just reading the article a little bit, I don't know. I really don't know what the explanation that Google is going to come up with it, because they haven't really given an answer yet, apart from just kind of it's part of our crackdown on.
Do you think they'll ever give it?
I think it's one of these things where I think somebody messed up. Somebody accidentally set the program on. Like, I bet they've got an algorithm that they set on a game, and it just goes through all the reviews and then just pulls all the ones that it thinks that are spam or fake or made up. So I think it's somebody accidentally set it on Dev Tycoon. It pulled out all of the ones that seem very similar or like spam type ones or whatever. And I bet it's a mistake. I really hope it's a mistake, because why would such a successful game like Dev Tycoon like force or just like make up reviews for the game? It just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, Green Hat Games, the devs behind their game, actually reported they had between 10,000 and 50,000 downloads, so of course sales, and they were standing at around 3K reviews. Now after that, there are around 700 reviews, and good thing is actually that the overall rating average is still at 4.9 of 5 stars, so that's good. But still, reviews are missing, and actual people wrote those. You had to pay for this, so this shouldn't be a thing, and hopefully Google will have an interesting update on that. So if you have an actual paid app on the App Store, might want to take a look in how many reviews we have. All right. So that concludes our news bit, and now we have still enough time, like 10 to 15 minutes, to do our upcoming release list, which we have, of course, done a homework for. And for next week, which is, at least in the game side, we have releases from the 19th to the 25th of February. So, first game on the list I see here is Long Gone Days. And Emily, I think you can explain a little bit how that game works and what it is about.
Well, this is a 2D modeling. Sorry, my cat is.
Cat?
Show cat on stream. Show the cat more views. Oh,
There's Sikili.
So, yeah, it's a 2D modern day character-driven RPG. It's set in like a dystopian, like modern day thing. The game centers around like a main character called Rourke. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And it's basically, it just follows him around. And he's like a soldier from this settlement below the Earth's surface called the Core. And the game basically centers around him leaving his post and like the consequences of it and the journey that he has. The trailer looks really good. I think it's an independent game. You can find it on Steam when the game is actually released. It says on here it's the 18th of February, but on Steam it says early March. But
Q4 2018, yeah.
Yeah. If you're really looking forward to the game, they have actually released a demo, which is the first hour of the game time. So yeah, go check it out. Yeah.
Well, sounds certainly interesting, especially since we don't know. The list that we're taking the information from is by Game Informer, and apparently, if it's actually been delayed until Q4 2018, the list is not updated yet. But hey, at least you heard about it, and you can still watch the Steam page and the trailer of that, so you can still set it in the wish list if you heard about it in the podcast. Yeah. Next game is coming on February 20th, and that is Metal Gear Survive. And I can actually tell a little bit about that because I played it already in the last beta. And we also have a beta this weekend running from Friday to Sunday, so everyone can still try it out again with friends together. And I have to admit, like Metal Gear Survive, I was skeptic about it because, it's the first Metal Gear game, at least by Konami, that's done without Kojima, and everyone's thinking, hopefully it fails and all that, hopefully it crashes. Well, I can report based on the open beta that I played, the multiplayer aspect of it is fun. Yeah, I played it with 2 more friends, and it's a wave-based zombie survival game where you have to actually protect your base. And the story around it is actually between Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, where your former Outer Heaven base was destroyed by Skyface. You all of a sudden are sucked into a portal and land in an alternative dimension. And in that dimension, we are now just one of the many soldiers from Outer Heaven, and we're trying to get back again. That is the story aspect. According to previews, the story is not that good. But hey, as it is with most zombie games, the story doesn't have to be that well done if at least the multiplayer of it is fun. So yeah, I can report multiplayer is halfway fun, sort of protecting the base against attackers and crafting stuff and building new things and all of the resource management that you do with friends together. That's fun. I don't know if it's fun for you to play it alone. So if you have a few friends who are interested in that, try out the beta. It's at least worth downloading and trying it out. That's as much as I can say about it. And yeah, have to see for yourself if you want to continue with it. Yeah.
I'd like to know, how does the kind of scoring system fare in Metal Gear Survive? Because if it's, because I don't know, every time I played Metal Gear Solid 5, I would like go in guns blazing and it'd be like, and you get like a C+, and it's like, but I killed everyone. I did the thing.
But you weren't stealthy.
But you weren't sneaky though. You weren't sneaky though. It's like,
yeah. So the rating based on the levels that you have actually are determined by how well you defended your base, your core, for example. You're digging for certain material, and if the zombies attack that side, you will of course lose energy. So the more you can gather from that energy, the better you protect your base, the higher your rating will be. So actually, me and my two friends, we were able to get always A ranking. So it's not too difficult, but you actually have to put in some work, decide which weapon do you want to take in. Do you want to have bow and arrow? Do you want to take traps with you? Do you want to have an auto rifle, which of course you don't have unlimited ammo for. So with the bow and arrow, for example, you can retrieve the arrows again even after you kill enemies and all that. So lots of decision making. It's not that bad. It's still running on the same engine that Metal Gear 5 was running on. So of course, you know, performance will be good. It was good on the Xbox One that I played. It was good on the PlayStation 4. And I bet it will be also good on PC because the engine just was really well done. Yeah. Gotta see for yourself. Of course, there's also, as I said before, crafting and sort of looting. So you will have rewards after a match, for example, material, but also plans to build other things like walls, bigger walls, and all that, turrets, and much more things. So it's going really into deep water with this one. And for what it is, probably isn't too bad. If I have to assume how critics will rate it later on, I would bet between 65 to 70%. Not too That's good, pretty high. But if they have the aspect of multiplayer part is good, it will still rank rather high, not too low. Yeah. So there's that.
Interesting. Do you know what's also coming out on the 20th?
What is coming out then?
Age of Empires, the definitive edition.
Ooh, yeah.
Which I am super hyped about. Because Age of Empires, fantastic game, wonderful game. All of that.
Yeah.
So, I cannot remember. I believe it's an in-house. I believe that Microsoft have taken this in-house.
Microsoft Studios is doing that.
Microsoft, yeah. So they have. This really is a passion project because they've gone from, as you could just see on the stream. Wow, just look at that. The graphics and everything, the way that the characters move, their cloaks and everything, and then onto the new side of things. Wow, my goodness, you can't say that wasn't done like with a lot of passion, a lot of love for the franchise, and that's how games really should be made or remade with their HD upgrades. So I have already pre-ordered it, and if you haven't already, for the low price of £15, or what was it?
20.
How many euros was it? 20 euros. That's worth it. It's really worth it for a game of that quality, and it's going to be linked into to Xbox Live, so you'll get achievements and you'll be able to play with friends online. They're going to open up all these amazing. I think they're going to have a load of servers for it on launch day. So I cannot wait to get back into this. It's like. Yeah,
for those who don't know Age of Empires at all, it's a real-time strategy game where you start off in the Stone Age, I think, and you work your progression towards higher civilization stages. So you're at the Roman Age later on and all that. And of course, you're doing war against other parties on the map. And that leads, of course, to many fun things, especially if I hope they have the cheat in it with the Big Brother. I think it was Age of Empires 2. It was Age of Empires 2, I think. But if they also put that in 1, only for the story mode, I'd be so happy about that because it's so ridiculous having a few cows that are actually using guns against some standard soldiers. It's so stupid. That's also fun.
Why?
Because it's fun. It's a cheat. Yeah. Back in the day, they actually had good cheats, you know?
Yeah, they did. They had crazy cheats. Like, let's stick a monster truck in here and it can bulldoze everything. Or in the case of, I believe it was Age of Mythology, let's have a flying pink with wings with a rainbow coming out of the back hippo that flies. That looks like Nyan Cat, but it's a hippo.
Okay.
And that was the super, and it shoots lasers from its eyes, so you know everything's fine.
Nice. Okay.
So it's basically like a remaster.
Yes. So the game was created originally in 1997, and They've decided to remaster it. They announced this at Gamescom last year, which a couple of media outlets that I will not name incorrectly said that they'd released it then. Ha ha ha.
Shame on them.
No, but they just announced it. They've finally gotten around. They're finally releasing it on the 20th. But note, the only place I believe you can pick it up is the Microsoft Store. You cannot pick it up on Steam, which is the only downside. Oh, don't forget O Canada. Yes, O Canada, such a great one. Flying bear with a Canadian flag on its back.
Oh yeah,
wonderful. But yes, you can't get it in the Steam marketplace. So the only place to pick it up is the Microsoft Store. But it's worth it. I'd say for £20, sorry, for £15 and €20, that's really worth it. And hopefully they will bring it to Steam, and I'll say if you've already bought it on Microsoft, here's a Steam code so you can redeem it on Steam, which would be even better.
Hopefully,
but we'll just have to wait in time. But for the moment, it's worth picking up. It really is. So get your pre-orders out there real quick.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you should actually encourage to pre-order, but this is a game which we know already.
At this stage, though, it's worth it to at this stage.
it hopefully won't be a No Man's Sky's division, so there will be game. We just don't know how it would run. So yeah, but let's continue because time's running out. We have a next game coming up presented by Emily again.
So Pac-Man have a new game coming out. It's called Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 Plus, which is on Which. It's coming out February the 22nd. It's basically like a glorified version of the original that came out in 1980. But it's $20 on the Nintendo Store, and you can have like 2-player games, and like it's called Co-op Madness. But yeah, it looks really good. The graphics are much better than the original. I'd hope so. But yeah, that's about it from
I can see right now on the stream we have now 2-player mode with Nintendo Switch, so each Joy-Con that you can just clip off the Nintendo Switch will be also 1-player Right Room style, which is very nice, and you can of course play that everywhere, and a game like Pac-Man will hopefully not use that many resources, so it will have a little bit more battery than just for half an hour. So yeah, that's good actually. Nintendo Pac-Man Championship Edition was something that was already released on many other platforms. It's good to see that it's also now coming out on Nintendo Switch. So yeah, there we go. That's that.
Cool.
Next up, we have Past Cure out on the February 23rd, and Dan will tell us something about it.
Right. So Past Cure is a dark psychological thriller that blurs the lines between dreams and reality in what looks like a fantastically wonderful graphics, like really intense graphics, and it's really cinematic as well. So you follow the struggle of a broken man searching for missing pieces of his mind, and using the power of your mind against those who unlocked it. So there is a lot of brutal draw crunching combos, and you can use things like time manipulation and astral projection to gain an edge on your opponents and overcome the different obstacles in the game. So it really reminds, I can't remember the game that there's a game in my head that is like, oh, that sounds a lot like it. I think it might be something called like Mindjackers or something. I don't know. It came out on Xbox 360. I remember that much. But yeah, this game looks incredible. So it's coming out on the 23rd of February. I can't see how much it's going to cost. I couldn't find very much information on it. It was one of these games where it's on Steam, but the only information you can get from it is on Steam. I couldn't really find out much about the developer themselves. I don't know if it's crowdfunded, and there doesn't seem to be a Wikipedia page about it at all. So
it sort of gives me, David Cage game looks with the faces, a little bit of Beyond Two Souls and all that. So yeah, who knows? Could be very interesting at least.
but I am intending to check it out. Maybe maybe do a stream on it, because there was a demo that came out yesterday.
Oh.
So I will definitely look to check that out. If it's not on the stream, I will check it out personally.
Sure.
Just because it looks very, very interesting.
But yeah, preview for a YouTube channel. I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Maybe definitely get that. But yeah, so Path to Cure looks very interesting. But I can't really give much information about it, as there's not much information to give, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, with the next game that is coming out also on February 23rd is Yume Nikki, which is Japanese and is translatable into Dream Diary. And that's actually a game that was released in 2004, had a few sequels, and the game previously was like a very weird 3D animation thing. And if you see the trailer right now on screen, this is actually the trailer. The first 3 minutes are just colors and noise, and it continues on. It has sort of weird stuff happening in it, and it is basically psychological horror with more experimental stuff. So it's not like I don't know, it's not like Resident Evil or something. It really tries to fuck you up with all the many things that it shows you, and the trailer alone is just like, what the hell am I looking at? Right, so that's a game that I'm not sure if I want to try. The thing that I saw though was like a speedrun of it. I think the 2004 version you can see right now on stream, and that basically looks like sort of Final Fantasy shit, PlayStation 1 era graphics, and I expect to be the next game sort of still be in the same vein. So you play inside of nightmares and dreams of a little girl, and you're trying to find I think essence in order to get out of those dreams. And yeah, lots of dream stuff is happening in it. So you see with colors, shapes, levels are not the way you expect them to be like. And yeah, I sort of expect that the new game that's coming out next week then will also follow the same structure, to be unusual at least, and be interesting to look at. So at least I will probably take a look at a Let's Play or live stream of it, because I think it also has some cult status already, based on what it is and how old it is. So yeah, that's coming out next week. So I can't report much about it because there's not much more out about it. So yeah, that is coming out next week on PC, February 23rd. Cool.
Definitely looks interesting.
Weird enough, I'd say. All right, now that concludes our release list for the coming week. We actually went a little over time, so I'll just go quickly through you two. You want to say something? What you want to do next on the new Byte.com when we will see you? Dan, when are you active next time?
Well, I will try and be active this week. I've mainly focusing on university. Got to focus on the uni stuff, you know.
100%.
Get that stuff sorted. But yeah, still working on reviews. I'll hopefully get something out soon. But yeah, keep watching the new Byte. Hopefully I'll be there. If I'm not there, House Test will be there. And yeah, ping us on our Twitter or on Facebook. Send us a what you think of how we're doing so far. We definitely would love to hear from you.
Yeah, especially if you listen to the recorded version at iTunes, if you give us a review there. But everywhere else too, we are also on SoundCloud and of course on YouTube for the recording. Hit us a comment and tell us what you think, what we can do better, what you do not like, especially, and of course be constructive, and we can work on ourselves and improve ourselves. And I hope you're already happy with this episode, because we actually took some time to prepare things. So everyone has sort of equal amount of time to talk, I hope. And yeah, I guess that leads, of course, to Emily. Also, do you want to tell us something what you would do next, maybe?
Well, I have some things in development. They're basically ideas at the moment, but I'll give you guys like a little sneak peek. I'm thinking of doing a Sim series.
Nice.
Nice.
Of like all the expansion packs from Sims 3, which are still current, I guess, because I still play The Sims 3 a lot. So yeah, as an avid gamer, a sim gamer, I would like to start reviewing those expansion packs. And I might do a little bit of live streaming if I can. Yeah, that's in development currently, but I would like to do some real soon. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, can't wait to see that. Hope we can help you as much as we can. So with the new Byte, everyone is on different stages and levels. So it's not just me, even though it looks like that. It's not my project, it is our project. I just want to say it again. It's Dan, Emily, and myself working on it. And so I'm really excited to see more Sim stuff, of course, from you. And I think it's quite a nice addition to the new Byte. It's not just about gaming in general. You can also do specific things in the series. And I'm really excited to see what's happening next. My name is Saucer, of course. You can find me at my Twitter. You can find everyone's Twitter on the video stream underneath our cards here. And everything else will be at thenewbyte.com. Check out thenewbyte.com/YT for our YouTube channel. We sadly do not have a specific URL yet. And of course, we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as The New Byte. Also, we have a Discord server for the people that actually asked us, hey, do we have a Discord? You should get a Discord. We have one. It's very easy to find. Just enter the URL, thenewbyte.com/Discord, and you will automatically be redirected to the invitation to our Discord server. And
it's really active.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And always active.
It's always full of cute pictures of dogs and cats.
Yeah, I really recommend checking out the Discord.
It's the heavenly place to be.
Right, and that's episode 3 of the New Byte Podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week again. Same bad time, same bad place. Bye!
See you guys.
Bye!